Good evening, sir. I am B. Saichan of IT department. My roll number is 21951A1269, and today I am going to give a presentation on oral presentation. So, oral presentation are one of the most common assignments in college courses. Scholars, professionals, and students in all fields desires to disseminate the new knowledge they produce, and this is often accomplished by delivering oral presentation in class, at conferences, in public lectures, or in company meetings. Therefore, learning is to deliver effective presentation is a necessary skill to master both for college and future endeavors. So, oral presentation typically involves three important steps. So, planning, practicing, and presenting. So, first of all, planning. So, oral presentation require a good deal of planning. Scholars estimate that approximately 50% of all mistakes in an oral presentation actually occur in the planning stage, or rather, lack of planning stage. Make sure to address the following issues. So, audience. Focus your presentation on the audience. Your presentation is not about how much you can say, but how much your audience can understand. So, organize your information into 3 to 5 point categories. Audience can only easily remember a maximum of 3 to 5 points. Build repetition. Listening is much different than reading. Your audience cannot go back and read over something they missed or did not understand. Build repetition through internal summarizes. So, transition, analogies, and stories. So, introduction. Introduce yourself if needed, providing your affiliation and credibility. Create an effective opening that will interest your audience. Pose a question, give an amazing fact, or tell a short, interesting story. Reveal your topic to the audience and explain why it is important for them to learn about. So, give a brief outline of the major points you will cover in your presentation. So, these all lead to an effective presentation. Careful preparation, solid structure and content, strong delivery. So, main body. So, explain your points, give clear explanations, provide sufficient evidence to be convincing. Use transition between sections of your presentation, introducing body and conclusion as well as between points in your main body section. The writing studio handout on roadmaps provides a great explanation of how to create clear signals and signposts that will guide the audience through your presentation. Use analogies and stories to explain complicated ideas and build repetitions. So, conclusion. Signal your conclusion with a transition. Summarize your points. Refer to future action if needed. End with thank you. If answering questions, tell your audience I will now be happy to answer any questions. So, second point is practicing. So, practicing your presentation is an essential. It is at this stage of process that you figure out word and phrase emphasis and timing of your section and overall presentation. Record your presentation and review it in order to know how you sound and appear to your audience. You may notice that you are pausing awkwardly, talking too fast, or using distracting gestures. Consider using different colored highlighters to remind yourself when to pause, when to emphasize a particular point, when you have a slide change on your PowerPoint, etc. So, practice in front of peers and elicit feedback. Ask your peers to comment on your delivery and content. What aspects of your delivery work well to convey the information and argument of the presentation, and what aspects of delivery are not working as well as they could also. Are the moments in your presentation if which your peers become confused, bored, or distracted. So remember that the more you practice, the more comfortable you will become with the material. As a result of repeated practice, you will appear far more polished and professional while delivering your presentation. So the third point is presenting. As the person in charge of this situation when presenting, it is your job to make your audience feel comfortable and engaged with both you and the material of the presentation. Maintain eye contact. Only look at notes or slides very briefly. Sweep the room with your gaze, pausing briefly on various people. Be aware of your body posture. Be enthusiastic about your topic. Smile. Slow down your speech. We naturally talk faster when we are nervous. Include pauses to allow your listeners to keep up the time for you to think ahead. Use gestures to emphasize points and move about the space if possible. Calibrate the volume of your voice so that the people in the back of the room can hear you. Avoid fillers such as I mean like. So act as natural and relaxed as possible. Dress appropriately. So oral presentation resources. So these are the resources: NC Central Oral Speaking PDF. Very detailed advice on planning, presenting, concluding, etc. Definitely the most comprehensive and detailed resources on this list. So these were some, and thank you. So let me recap. Organize your information into 3 to 5 points categories. Audience can only easily remember a maximum of 3 to 5 points. So build repetition. Repeat your points to convey them. So listening is much different than reading. Your audience cannot go back and read over something they missed or they didn't understand. So build repetition through internal summaries, transitions, analogies, and stories. So introduce yourself if needed, means providing your affiliation and credibility. Create an effective opening that will interest your audience. Pose a question, give an amazing fact, or tell a short, interesting story. So you reveal your topic to the audience and explain why it is important for them to learn about. So give a brief outline of the major points you will cover in your presentation. So this was the main body. Explain your points. Give clear explanation. Provide sufficient evidence to be convincing. Use transitions between sections of your presentation. Introduce introduction, body, and conclusion as well. So as between points in your main body section, the Writing Studio Hangout and Roadmaps provides a great explanation of how to create clear signals and signposts that will guide the audience through your presentation. Use analogies and stories to explain complicated ideas to build repetitions.